2 more confirmed season-ending injuries, an update on Jayden Daniels, Dan Quinn's future, the trade deadline is tomorrow, and why I need to hold myself accountable for things I said on this channel. Let's get into the video. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Full Command Show. My name is Grant Mitchell, and we are here to discuss the fallout of that catastrophe, the horror on Sunday Night Football. Seahawks win 38-14. Among the mayhem of that game, the Commanders were on a 49-0 run, or rather, their opponents were on a 49-0 run dating back to the second half of that Chiefs game until we scored our first touchdown. We'd been outscored 59-7 since halftime of the Chiefs game when Jayden got injured. Just truly a night to forget. And that includes for Art Monk, who was being honored that night. Just could not have gone any worse. So we are talking about the fallout of that. But first, I want to address my game reaction that I put out this morning, where I said some very controversial statements. And I expected to get a lot more criticism in the comment section than I did. So that kind of gives me an indication of where you guys are at with your feelings. But I'm going to jump into that in just a moment, guys. Before I get there, make sure that you do hit the like button on this video. Already got our second upload of the day. Might be joining some other Commanders YouTubers for a live stream later today. There's been some last second movement with that. A couple of guys' work schedules been changed around, so we're seeing if we're going to still put that together. But if I can get on that, then I'll make sure that I probably create a post with the link, and you guys can go check it out. And if you just want to see me in general, hey, why not hit that subscribe button, okay? Also, guys, as we go through this video, make sure that you do leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. This channel exists to give you guys a forum. You know, I want to see what you guys are thinking, and also I like watching your conversations with each other. You know, I always think it's good to get some differing perspectives on things, and that's a good segue to how I want to start this video, differing perspectives. So in my video this morning, I said that I'm very focused on this channel about not calling for people's jobs, not calling for people's heads just to see the world burn. And I said that Dan Quinn deserved to be fired for making the decision to put Jayden Daniels on the field, 7 minutes left, down 38-7, given all the injuries around him, given the receivers weren't separating, given the offensive line wasn't blocking, and given he'd already been hit a lot in his first game coming back after 2 leg injuries. Obviously, it wasn't a leg injury he suffered, but point remains. And I've thought about it, and I've thought about it a lot. I've watched back the video a couple of times, listened to it while I was working, and I'm going to stand by a lot of what I said, and I'm going to hold myself accountable for a couple of things I said. So I'll start with the big one here. Number one, I've given it more thought, and I don't believe Dan Quinn should be fired. Now, stick with me, guys, because some of you who are on that train, I'm sure you're going to be frustrated by hearing me say this. I think what he did was a fireable offense. I absolutely do. If I'm looking at the timeline of this, firing him right now doesn't solve anything. He may come to pay for his actions here in the offseason, but right now, again, the more I think about it, the more the emotions settle down, it just makes less and less sense. Yeah, I think the performances of the team are already enough to put him on thin ice. Losing by 22, losing by 21, losing by 24. First time anything like that has happened to the Commanders since 2001. And we were in misery for decades. So that's really saying something. The performances in and of themselves were they were heating up Dan Quinn's seat. This incident may have lit it on fire. But if we fire Dan Quinn right now, first and foremost, everything collapses internally. I do still believe there's respect for DQ inside the locker room. I don't think the locker room has gotten toxic. I also think AP wants a close relationship with his coach. I believe if the time comes, he will fire him. I do believe he is cold-blooded like that. If he's fired, Kliff Kingsbury becomes the head coach. Brian Johnson, I would assume, becomes the offensive coordinator. That would only make things worse. And I say that respectfully. That would only make things worse. I also believe that I believe that we shouldn't want to watch the team go up in flames, even though that's our natural reaction. And I'm guilty of that. I recorded the video, I edited it, I published it. I might have fallen guilty to just wanting to see heads roll because of where we were at right now. But the timing of it it's just not appropriate. Now, with me saying that, when we get to the offseason, Adam Peters needs to take a good, hard look at what has happened this year, some of the disintegration of the principles DQ preaches: produce the ball is life, run and hit, way we get down's not for everybody. All those pillars, his team reflects very, very few of them. At least they have this season. And that Jayden thing, I think it's a cardinal sin, leaving him out there. I've seen some people saying he's coming off of an injury. He's a young player. You want to get him reps. If it was the end of the third quarter, I hear you. Maybe if there's 15 minutes left in the fourth quarter, I hear you. 7 minutes left, down 38-7, having scored 7 points in the last 6 quarters, with how much he's been injured, with how much his teammates are getting injured, with how many players around him are getting injured and underperforming. He's getting killed out there. Players are going to play. These are the best athletes in the world. And you don't get to that level if you're not competitive. You just don't. Some of them might not work the hardest. Some of them might be blessed with more God-given ability, but they're all competitive. DQ didn't say they went up to Jayden and asked him, hey, do you want to go back out? They said, hey, we're going to pull you. And Jayden fought them and said, no, let me out there. I'm going to go down with the ship. They didn't have a conversation. DQ said that it was hindsight. In hindsight, he didn't like how it worked out. Wrong. He was a step slow. Let me transition to what I stand by. I stand by. DQ has been a step slow in so many different situations ever since he took over, and this includes last year. You see it with game management. You see it with timeout usage. You see it with adjustments. In this situation, you saw it with the utilization of a player. Just so happened to be a very important franchise player. They put him out on the field, and DQ was a step slow, realizing I do not need to have him out here. And what's so surprising about that is they have been very cautious with him this year. After that injury against the Packers, the reports were if it was a playoff game, he wouldn't have missed any time. No, they wanted to make sure that he was totally fine. Okay, the Cowboys game, they don't let him go back in, even though Jayden is saying, guys, let me go back in, I'm good. They hold him out next couple of weeks, right? Cowboys, so after that would have been Bears and then Chiefs, right? Yeah, so next 2 games. No, Jayden, you're not playing. They've been cautious, and then we get to this moment, and there was just reckless abandonment. It was gross negligence, a cardinal sin, all terms that I would use to describe this. And that is a reflection of the head coach above all else. So I stand above anyone else. So I stand by that criticism. I patently believe Jayden should not have been on the field. I stand by DQ needing to let go of the past. I'm recording this before he gives his press conference today. I don't want to hear anything about we're the ones who dug this hole. We're going to dig ourselves out. I don't want to hear anything about the way we get down. I don't want to hear anything about a deep crew. I don't want to hear anything about competitiveness. I don't want to hear anything about Jayden's going to work hard to get back. None of it. I truly don't. And so, again, in me attempting to hold myself accountable, just because I'm saying Dan Quinn probably shouldn't be fired right now does not mean that he has not put things on his resume that shouldn't lead Adam Peters to that decision in the offseason. But I'm going to leave that for Adam Peters. Sticking with the things that I stand by. I stand by all of my criticism of Joe Whitt Jr. For the majority of the season, I said it wasn't a scheme issue. The players just stunk. But my problem with Joe Whitt was he's not teaching them correctly on the practice field. The communication is bad. The techniques are off. Adjustments. I stand by all of that. And recently his scheme, he changed it last week. You saw improvement. I have no idea what to say about Sunday night. It was awful. I was I had a Twitter conversation with a data analyst for Pro Football Focus, and I asked him to explain this play. You know what? I'll put it back up on the screen. It was in the video earlier today, my game reaction. I'll put it up on the screen again. This is some sort of 3-man rush cover 0. Poor Jeremy Reeves is looking around screaming at everyone like, guys, I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing here. You've got Lattimore and Owens playing solo man. You've got Luvu spying. You've also got Bobby Wagner in a double spy that's going to convert to some sort of coverage man when the running back gets to him. You've got a bracket on JSN. It's a cover 0 bracket that's just executed so poorly, specifically by Sainristil. He gets torched. Sainristil gets beat so bad, it makes you think the coverage is supposed to be something it's not. So scheme's an issue. Teaching is an issue. Leadership is an issue. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but I just don't see players responding. I don't see them improving. I see them getting worse. I see people looking confused. I see them looking frustrated with each other. That's a reflection of Joe Whitt Jr., Kliff Kingsbury, the awful, predictable play calling, failing to establish the run, no downfield passing attacks. He's limited too by injuries. I get it, but I stand by those criticisms. So, want to clear that up. If you're out there and you think, if you were standing by everything I said in my game reaction, which includes it's time to fire Dan Quinn, more power to you. I support you in that. You have the right to make a decision based on what happened last night. You do. It's just that after evaluating the logistics of it, again, personally, I think it's something that should probably wait for a couple of months, but we'll wait and see. Time always tells all. Updates. Luke McCaffrey broke his collarbone. Crazy. Terry, your wide receiver number 1, is out. Noah, not actually your wide receiver 2, but your Z receiver, out with a groin. Debo is playing, but he's got a heel injury, and he doesn't do anything aside from catch bubble screens. Your wide receiver 4, Luke McCaffrey, is out. Jalen Lane's got a case of the fumbles. Going into next game, I mean, our receivers are going to be an injured Debo, Lane, Treylon Burks, Chris Moore. That's only 4. I don't even know. Did we re-sign Robbie Chosen to the practice squad? If we didn't, we're going to have to bring him back. Treylon Burks, I guess. Or, not Treylon Burks, sorry. Ja'Cory Brooks. Does he get another shot? I don't know, man. Lattimore, Marshon Lattimore tore his ACL. Brutal. I guess that's not fully confirmed, but there is serious fear of that. That's the news. And this happened with the Packers. There was fear Tucker Kraft tore his ACL. He did. Lattimore, he's probably, I would assume, almost guaranteed to have played his last snap in a Commander's uniform. Scary part for him is he might have played his last snap of professional football. For his sake, I hope he can get back. You know, Lattimore did not work out. Everybody knows that. And that includes Marshon Lattimore. He wanted to succeed here just as bad as anybody, more than anybody. Lattimore wanted to succeed here. It was terrible. He probably hasn't enjoyed his time, and now he's got a torn ACL. His play was already coming down. Now he's going to lose some athleticism off of this, I would assume. Just sucks. It also means that, selfishly, the team's not going to be able to get draft assets for him if another team wanted him. Looking at the injuries now, you've got Jayden Daniels with a dislocated elbow. The x-rays were negative, which is a good thing for now. We're going to wait for more imaging, see what the full diagnosis is, what the recovery timeline's like. But you've got Jayden Daniels with a dislocated elbow. Terry's got a quad something or another, tear, strain. Noah Brown's got a groin something. Luke McCaffrey's got a broken collarbone. Austin Eckler's got a torn Achilles. Dorrance Armstrong's got a torn ACL. Lattimore's got a torn ACL. Wise has got a torn quad. Will Harris has got a broken leg. Quan's got a hamstring issue. Amos has a hip problem. JJB's got a torn pec. Johnny Newton's got a sprained ankle. Eddie Goldman's got a concussion. Didn't even mention George Fant or Colson Yankoff, or the list. This is just a season from hell. It truly is. So with that in mind, the trade deadline is tomorrow. Sell, sell, sell. Everyone you can. The only players I would give no consideration to trading: Jayden Daniels, Trey Amos. That's it. I am thinking about every other person on this roster. The people that I am trying to trade right now, I'm calling other teams saying, hey, you want them? Bobby Wagner, Zach Ertz, not expecting much. Terry McLaurin, Daron Payne, Von Miller, Quan Martin, Noah Igbenogany, Andrew Wiley, Deebo Samuel, Marcus Mariota, and Nick Allegretti. I think there are markets for those guys. 7th rounders at best for some of them. You might just have to release some guys. You might just release Von Miller. We could finish 4-13. We could have a top 5 draft pick and not having our own second, which would essentially become a first in that scenario if you get the 36th pick. That's just so painful. Now, I'm not going to criticize the outcome because we needed a franchise left tackle. And look, Laramie Tunsil has been really good this year. And Laramie Tunsil is probably going to be one of the top 3 pass blocking tackles in the NFL for the next 3 to 4 years. So it is worth it, but boy, is it painful. It's a tough pill to swallow right now. If we do get a top 5 pick, I would trade off of it. I would trade back to, 11 in another first or 11 in a second, something like that, because we just need players. It's tough to imagine what the rest of the season is going to look like. But guys, that's going to do it for this video. Like I said, might be having a live stream later. Be on the lookout for a post containing the link if that does happen. I might have more updates after Dan Quinn's press conference later. There might be some trades. I don't know. I would expect the next 24 hours or so to be busy with the deadline approaching, but I haven't been able to read anything with this team all season long. So just got to wait and see. But guys, that is going to do it for this video. I appreciate y'all joining me. Make sure you hit the like button if you enjoyed. Go to the comment section. Leave me your thoughts as always. Hit the subscribe button if you are new around here. And I will catch you in the next one. Have a great day.